Seems you've discovered your unpleasant nature.
Alright, tell me if you heard this one. In a sleeping city, a protagonist awakens and explores philosophical questions as if mysterious, uniformed oppressors try and find him. Believe it or not, this article isn't about Keanu Reeves dodging bullets in slow motion, but rather a movie that came a whole year before The Matrix. Despite the similarities, the Wachowskis movie amazed the world and became one of the best-known movies of all time. Meanwhile, Dark City was a financial failure and still remains a lesser-known cult classic. Despite its similarities, director Alex Proyas' movie is more than able to stand on its own 2 feet. Thanks to its inspiration from the detectives of film noir, this Aussie-American production was able to stand out from its trenchcoat brothers, while still making it one of the greatest science fiction movies of the 90s.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
But for the love of all things cyberpunk, please watch the director's cut. In most movies, the difference between each cut is relatively minor. Each version has its fair share of fans. Such is true with Zack Snyder's theatrical version of Watchmen, the director's cut, and the ultimate cut. Each version has its own merits. Sadly, the cuts of Dark City are more like Blade Runner's infamous 7 versions. Some of them try their best to talk down to the audience, and remove any kind of nuance or ambiguity from Ridley Scott's original vision. Like Blade Runner's theatrical cut, the original version of Dark City also starts with narration. However, this narration not only explains everything about the world, but also arguably spoils the entire story, removing all the mystery and tension the movie carefully sets up.
Then came the strangers. They were a race as old as time itself. They had mastered the ultimate technology, the ability to alter physical reality.
In an interview, the director admits hating these changes and was glad to remove the narration from the director's cut. Obviously, there's some other changes between the 2 versions, but the voiceover alone is a great reason to avoid the theatrical cut on a first watch. Dark City spirals all the way down. When Jay Murdoch, played by Rufus Sewell, first wakes up, he is greeted with the body of a young woman covered in spiral-shaped wounds. However, this shape continues to appear in the story in many and more bizarre ways. In a nutshell, this is pretty much the best way to describe how Dark City ramps up its weirdness. The story starts like any other grounded detective movie with a victim, a murder, and a runaway. As the plot goes on, some things start to feel off. As the spirals get weirder and weirder, the stakes keep rising to the point where the third act is almost completely different from the beginning. Don't worry, it'll all make sense in the end. Just like its genre mix between nostalgic noir and futuristic sci-fi, Dark City is a gorgeous mix of different genres. Of course, this choice was deliberate and gave the movie a unique look that made it age incredibly well. If you just want a movie with interesting sets and awesome stills, then no need to look any further. However, Jay Murdoch doesn't have time to go sightseeing as he's being chased by men in black trench coats, without sunglasses, sadly. For some reason, they want something from Murdoch's. As the movie goes on, this cat and mouse chase reveals more about the motives of the strange men in black, as well as the world they live in. Like many other science fiction greats, Dark City isn't scared to explore the nature of our existence as well as what defines our humanity. When our protagonist wakes up, he has complete amnesia. The only mission he has is get to Shell Beach, place shown in a postcard in his pocket. Despite how cliche the amnesiac storyline is, this plot doesn't outstay its welcome. It's not the main focus of the story. Instead, it serves as the seed of the main philosophical themes that slowly grow. Despite its similarities between Blade Runner and The Matrix, the themes addressed in Dark City are different from the former 2. Of course, can't go into much detail without spoiling the movie. But if you want a movie that addresses the human mind as well as what makes us human, you won't be disappointed. Somehow, it manages to spin all the plates without neglecting either of them too much. Whether it's good enough to beat The Matrix, I will leave for you to decide. What do you think? Let us know down in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe for all the latest Cyberpunk videos, where we tell you what you've got to see.
But he can also lead us to what we seek, what the Doctor calls the soul.